We come now, thank you very much Marguerite and Warwick, and thank you for the hard work that you've put into this and the previous item. Item number 16, if I can get Ross Churnside to come to the table and Kevin Ramsey, and this is the recommendation for the value for money ICT review. Ross, you are the one, or Kevin?
Yes, through your worship, just as a starting point, the resolution was to approve the ICT report rather than the terms of reference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which was approved at the Appointment, Performance Review and Value for Money Committee at its meeting earlier this month.
Yeah, just to confirm, it is actually as per the agenda.
Yeah.
Actually, the written document has got the correct recommendations on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything you want to add to that, Ross? That's short to the point. And it's moved by Councillor Simpson, and I'll second it. Are there any questions? Councillor Casey.
Yeah, it's the same one I asked in the workshop, which I'd like you to publicly answer, and it's about my fear with regard to bringing together all the CCTVs under the umbrella of Auckland Transport. So that would include the business associations, the police cameras, the Auckland Transport cameras, and whatever. My worry is it's used for other nefarious purposes. So I need to know what you're doing, because you've got this down here as a quick win. So how quick is it all going to be brought together? And what about the issues, the ethical issues around access, especially unwanted access by parties unknown?
Through you, Your Worship. First thing is the CCTV is at business case stage, so it's being worked through a business case process at the moment. And the second thing, for all projects, a privacy impact assessment is undertaken, which to make sure that the use of the data is for the purpose that it is kept, and also it will be within the overall security infrastructure of our technology services.
Just unpack that for me, Ross. Who's in charge of making sure there's no breaches? What's the governance of it?
Through Your Worship, it's going to be through Auckland Transport. Auckland Transport are going to provide that service back to the council and the business associations, and with access to the police as well.
And who's governing that, though? Who's governing privacy issues as part of this?
Through you, it's back through Auckland Transport's governance structures, because they're running the service.
So they are required, though, to comply with all aspects of the privacy laws in New Zealand. The question is not that we should be dropping our standards on privacy at all, but rather whether a collective approach for CCTV means that we can do the job that we've authorised each separate organisation to do more effectively by dealing with it collectively. Is that correct?
Through you, yes, that is correct, Your Worship. And also the first recommendation when we actually establish this fora to actually, admit or to give some strategic approach to technology requirements across Auckland Council Group, that is certainly something that should be on their agenda.
Oh, good. That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's suggesting dropping privacy, but you can see actually from the Grace Millane case how valuable CCTV evidence could be. Without that, we probably wouldn't have a person charged or a body recovered. Okay, are there any comments or a question? Councillor Darby.
Thank you. I've recently been into the AT CCTV analytics unit, and it is a very small, agile, innovative team of people. I guess going forward, as you compress all these parts of the organisation into one, I guess I want some confidence that the agility and ability to be nimble, to be smart, to respond to challenges is not going to be subsumed by a much bigger organisation. Maybe it might breed exactly the opposite. Can you give me and us some confidence that units like the CCTV analytics team, which is doing really smart things, will be amplified and not reduced?
Through you, Your Worship. The business case that's been prepared actually supposes to re-platform what the systems that CCTV run on to actually provide additional tools and additional effectiveness to what they're currently doing, and the scalability for taking on more and more cameras.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking of that's all the hardware and the software, but then there are people, and there are people that we've got who I've come across, and Councillor Hills and I went there, and there are about 6 or 8 people in this unit, all with PhDs, and they are doing things better than what I saw in Shenzhen at the Huawei R&D plant. I want some confidence that that sort of capacity will have space to carry on with its work, and in other parts as it interfaces with ICT. So it's not just about pulling all the mechanical parts together. I just want to make sure that that agility, that innovation and the smarts of those people and more will be enabled by this going forward.
And through your worship, I agree exactly with what you're saying, Councillor. And you should only pull things together where it makes sense to do so. And one size does not fit all. So for each project, an appropriate assessment of actually how that should be delivered and by whom that should be delivered. And the hope is that the recommendation to create this group-wide strategic forum will actually develop some guiding principles around how these things will be determined.
Okay.
If I can just add, yeah,
Kevin?
through the worship, yeah. The other aspect to remember here is that actually going to a joint procurement basis to ensure you actually get a common data basis for what the actual form that the data comes through, all the CCTV cameras, that you've actually got a more robust methodology of holding the data, doesn't mean you change the underlying models as to how each of the entities operates. Auckland Transport will have its own need, business districts will have their own, it may be constant monitoring, visual monitoring, so they can continue to operate in their own optimum method, but they're actually pulling the efficiencies as far as how data is held, its consistent format, that sort of thing, and accessibility, allowing for the privacy rules and concerns being monitored. They can actually access it in better ways, but that doesn't change the way the underlying entities can still access and source and resource for those needs.
Okay, thank you.
So you get the best of both worlds in that sense. I wonder, Councillor, if you asked about the privacy laws in Shenzhen. Which ones are those? That would have been the answer. I met the chief of police in Shenzhen one time to talk about drug trafficking, and I said, was there a big problem? There is a big problem, he said, but there is no recidivism when we catch them. I understood very quickly what he meant. Okay, are there any comments on this topic? I think it's pretty clear. So I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
To the contrary, no. Carried.